Hey everybody, welcome to the Mark Parham Podcast. You can follow me on Spotify and Apple Podcast by just typing in Mark Parham Podcast and I should pop up. So I'm looking at something on the internet where they're saying they're going to give Zelensky over $100 billion. I guess this is, for fighting in Russia or whatever they want to do with them. I don't know. But anyway, are leaders in Europe tired, or not leaders, are people in Europe tired of their leaders? And the reason why I say this is because, when it comes to war, and it's the same in America, when it comes to war, you notice powerful leaders can come up with all sorts of money. But then when it comes to feeding the homeless, when it comes to, improving society, when it comes to infrastructure, all these things, it's a huge debate. Like, it's very, it just makes you wonder. And the reason why I say that is because anytime Zelensky comes and begs for money, the leaders in Europe just, wave a magic wand and it happens. But it's when it comes to any other things, if this were something about feeding, veterans in Europe that are maybe homeless or having mental problems or something, it would be a huge debate that would go on for years. When it comes to war, instantly, Zelensky's able to just get money. And I'm not talking about $1 billion here and maybe $100 million here. I'm talking about like big money. And so, it just goes to show you that a lot of these leaders in Europe, and I'd even say America, they don't listen to, the regular everyday people. Because imagine what, Europe could do with that amount of money. And the sad part about it, it's a war where I'm looking at the statistics and I'm looking at what's going on. I don't even think Ukraine is winning. Like, I remember when the war first happened, with the war with Ukraine and Russia, I remember everybody was saying, oh, Zelensky's winning and he's doing such a good job. And, CNN was putting out all these fake statistics and, the soldiers are advancing and they're doing this and doing that. Like, they were really trying to, and it wasn't just CNN, it was, some of these media outlets all around the world were acting like Zelensky was, winning this war and he was, doing such a great job and all this other stuff. And now in 2025, people are realizing that some of the independent voices that were saying, Zelensky's lying to you, they're realizing that those folks were correct. And, the media 24/7 was acting like Zelensky was, a person that was winning the war. He was sitting up and making good decisions and Russia didn't stand a chance and all this other stuff. And now it's 2025 and look what's happening. Is Ukraine really winning? And, for a country that's winning and doing such a great job, he always needs money. He always comes to around the world, we need this, we need this, we need that, we need that. Well, if you're doing such a great job, why do you need all this money all the time? And I mean, I've even seen reports, I don't know if it's true or not, allegedly, but I've even seen some reports where there's been massive corruption, where some of that money that these countries are spending to help Ukraine with their war, I've seen reports where some of that money isn't even going to, the soldiers and going to the war effort. That's what I've heard. And so I don't know if it's true or not, allegedly, like I said, but it's just like, people are waking up to the fact that Ukraine is not winning the war right now, and Zelensky isn't doing the great job that, the media told us he was doing. I mean, the media 24/7, oh, Zelensky, and he's going to defeat the Russians, and the Russian army is so primitive, and all this other stuff. Now people are saying, well, wait a minute. This thing has gone on for a few years, and doesn't look like you're advancing like you said you were. And so it just goes to show you where, the media is very powerful. And it just goes to show you how the media can sit up and what the saying goes, fan the flames. The media is very good at doing that, because it almost reminds me of the Iraq war, when it was just like, you had some media outlets that got on TV and, oh, well, we're almost to victory and all this other stuff. And people believed it. Then you come to find out, it's just like, no, yeah, you might have done this to a country, but, what was the goal? In the worst situation is that I wouldn't say situation, but the sad part about all of these wars that are happening is that these rich folks, they send in men to fight, wars that, to go into battle and all this other stuff. But you notice when these men come home, these powerful nations really don't do anything for the soldiers. And I would even include, America for a few years. A lot of these soldiers, you see them on TV and they're wounded and things like that, and they're struggling to get benefits and housing. And like I said, the rich leader will sit up and buy a mansion in Martha's Vineyard or buy a mansion in France or an apartment or something like that and not even think about these soldiers. And so, again, if you're going to send folks into battle, you should care about them until however long you need to support them, in my opinion. It's very sad because people are so quick to, we need to send people to battle and we need to defend the country and all this other stuff. And you notice they don't do it to their family members. Some of these leaders have family members that are sitting up and doing Christmas shopping, while poor men have to, go to a foreign country and then come back and then, be as poor as they were when they left, to go to battle. And so that it's backward. And so I would just I would just ask the question, are Europeans tired of their leaders? Are they tired of Zelensky always asking for money when, they're having to pay bills and struggle and, you're having to budget and things like that. And this guy can just go around the world and can I get 100 billion here, a billion here? It's insane to me. And it's amazing how quick things can get approved when it comes to war. So again, in the comment section, let me know how you feel. But I'm just wondering, are Europeans tired of leaders in Europe? That's just my question. So let me know in the comment section. Thank you.